Video number 3, Dotmocracy, the how. And the how looks at the equipment, materials, documents you'll need to prepare ahead of conducting a Dotmocracy workshop. The first thing you'll need to do is to prepare handouts, gather equipment, identify areas for the work sessions to take place. The following slide will give you a sense of the things that you will need to consider as you prepare to conduct your workshop. The first thing you'll do is to decide on the categories of stakeholders that will be invited to take part in the session. Generally, we talk about internal stakeholders, who would be your employees, staff, faculty, admin team, for example, and external stakeholders, such as community members who impact on your services, donors, perhaps parents, people who own the facilities that you use, etc. You'd hold separate sessions for each stakeholder group. Remember that in your employee group, the employees will hesitate to present their opinions with the admin team or bosses in the same room. So it's very important that each group, because they'll have different suggestions and information, should be done separately. You can prepare a simple invitation that looks something like what you see before you to send out. It's not a bad idea to ask people to email or phone indicating their intention to attend, to give you a sense of the numbers and an opportunity to prepare worksheets ahead of time. You will need to decide on location to hold the workshop. Although it depends upon numbers, the best places are a cafeteria, gymnasium, auditorium, where there's plenty of space to arrange chairs and tables, and also wall space where flip chart paper can be placed and people can comfortably move from flip chart to flip chart at the end of the workshop. Although you'll see that you should consider an area that can accommodate 18 tables and chairs, that would accommodate 180 participants, it's not likely you'd have that number. You probably need either a 3, 6, or 9 table arrangement with 6 chairs per. In my experience, 50 to 60 participants will give you 90% of what you receive in terms of opinions, ideas, and suggestions that the same group of perhaps 180 people would provide. Remember, at the end of the day, a workshop report can be prepared and circulated to anyone not able to attend a workshop for any reason for any additional feedback. The participant worksheets are the key. You can see them here, and they're needed to be printed ahead of time. You can see there are 3 windows: stop, start, continue, with the appropriate questions. Participants should jot down their ideas, opinions, suggestions under each. It's not necessary to use full sentences since these are worksheets that will not be collected at all. You will also need to prepare some numbers that will be transfixed to the worksheets. You can either write them on or have labels printed that you can purchase at Staples and generate the numbers through a computer program. Simply tear them off and add them to the sheets, and you can see here number 132 represents table 1, table 3, table 2 would be the rotation for this individual. You also need to prepare cards for each table being used. The number on the table has to correspond with the number on a worksheet, and white items will be listed at that particular table. You can see here, for example, table 1 would be start, 2 would be stop, 3 would be continue. This means that when a participant arrives at one of these tables, the only items that should be considered and listed or added to what's there are identified by the table cards. So only starts with starts, stops with stops, continues with continues. The table identification cards need to be in exact sequence. For example, table 1, 4, 7, and 10 would be starts. 2, 5, 8, 11 would be stops. 3, 6, 9, 12 would be continues. You'll also have to prepare gum dots and purchase these, as you can see on the screen, ahead of time. They can be purchased at Staples. I'd recommend using one color. They need to be cut into strips of 5 ahead of time and placed in an envelope so they can be handed out to participants at the appropriate time, each participant receiving 5 gum dots. Let's take a look at the labels you will use because they're an important part of the workshop if you intend to use them. You can see here that this particular sheet has numbers 1 to 3, so there'd be 3 tables. Once again, you can purchase blank labels with staples and then use a computer program that will place the numbers on the sheet. Here's the sheet that would show you what 9 table arrangement would look like and an 18 would look like. On the far right, you can, of the this particular display, you can see the number of people that you can accommodate by tearing off each label from left to right across the page and sticking them on the page. For example, 3 participants, 6 participants, 9 participants, etc. You can also see there are small red numbers beside some labels to help you. If, for example, you had 24 people and wanted to use 6 tables, these are the only labels you would use to make certain that there was an even balance of people at each table. If you wanted to continue with the 6-table arrangement, you'd simply prepare another set of labels and use the red numbers again to accommodate participants. So, for example, the 25th person would be red 1, the 26th would be red 2, the 27th would be red 3, and so on. The reason for using numbers is to make sure that participants go to the 3 rotations with different people. They will communicate with people they may never have associated with before and perhaps get some ideas from people from a totally different perspective. Alternatively, if you don't want to use numbers, you can simply sit people at tables provided. Make sure they only fill the number of chairs at the table, or they'll need to go to another. Have every table do stops, then post all the flip chart paper on the wall under a stop section. Then have them do starts and post all those flip chart papers under start section. Then have them do continue and post all that flip chart paper under continue.